تفضلوا استريحوا. تفضلوا. بسم الله الرحمن
In
الرحيم.
the name of Allah,
فخامة الرئيس انديجي دودا.
Your Majesty, Your Excellency, President of Poland,
اسمحوا لي بداية
allow me at the very beginning
ويسعدني أن أرحب بفخامتكم
to welcome you all, Your Excellency, to Egypt. Your visit is very important. This is the first official visit between both countries, even if the diplomatic relations started a century ago. This visit reflects the attention we pay to our mutual relations together, and we are very keen to develop the relations. Mutually, we discussed together in details how to go forward in enhancing the relations between both states in different fields in order to achieve the interests of both peoples of two countries. We are going to increase mutual visits at different levels in order to deep-root cooperation in different fields of interest, specifically the economic one. There are promising opportunities to increase the mutual trade relations, specifically the construction materials, ethanol, methanol and others, digitalization, new renewable energy, and waste recycling, as well as tourism services, and to make use of the Polish experience in this regard and the settlement of the technology in Egypt. Poland decided to continue the flights between both countries, Cairo, Warsaw, starting from 31st of May, and that would facilitate the movement and trade between both countries. That would enhance the investments in Egypt and the tourism development in Egypt, as Poland comes in as a fifth country with regard to the highest number of tourists visiting Egypt. We are enhancing the cooperation with regard to EU on anti-terrorism strategies, and we reviewed the policies and the strategies adopted in this regard, and also the human rights strategies. We reviewed the development with regard to citizenship rights, religious rights, and anti-extremism efforts. We take into account the efforts exerted by Poland with regard to the religious extremism, and Egypt is looking forward to enhance the efforts exerted by Poland to maintain its stability regionally and internationally. We enhance the need to increase our efforts regionally and internationally, specifically with regard to terrorism financing and having shelters for terrorists. We reviewed efforts exerted by Egypt through different local authorities to stop irregular migration from Mediterranean Sea to Europe, even if we are suffering from economic problems. 6 million refugees are enjoying basic rights and social services in Egypt. This is that affected positively to relieve the burden of irregular migration to Europe. We welcome the Polish efforts with regard to enhancing Egypt in hosting COP27. We take into account that Poland hosted the conference 3 times before. We discussed how to enhance the social and economic development, the adaptation and to climate change and mitigation of climate change, and how can we cooperate together with regard to hosting the conference. Regionally and internationally, we discussed different important issues and priorities topped by the Renaissance Dam. We presented the Egyptian efforts through negotiations in order to reach a legally binding agreement that's not going to harm any of the states, specifically Egypt, and not to prevent Egyptians from the River Nile, the main source of water for Egyptians. And at the same time, we are seeking the development of the Ethiopian people. We discussed the different issues on Middle East, topped by the Palestinian cause, which is at the core of the political issues in the Middle East. We affirmed the two-state solution and having independent Palestinian state on borders of 1967, and that required to stop the settlement policy and to find a calm environment that would lead to a sustainable solution for this conflict. Internationally, we discussed together the Russian-Ukrainian crisis, which is affecting on the whole world economy. It affects on the food security to different countries. We listened to the vision of Poland on the crisis and how to overcome this crisis. We also presented our position and how can we find ways to ease tension and find peaceful solution to the conflict and to exert all efforts mutually and regionally or internationally. We confirmed that it is necessary to find solutions and alternatives that would avoid different people the negative impact of the Ukrainian-Russian crisis. In that context, we reviewed the Egyptian efforts and the Egyptian initiative to form ministerial communication committee in the framework of the League of Arab States that visited Moscow and Warsaw to meet with different ministers of relevant countries to encourage them all to ease tension, to return to negotiation table and avoid the atrocities of war. Your Excellency President, I welcome you again and I express my deep thanking for you and your visit to Egypt, and I'm going to accept the invitation to visit Poland as soon as possible. This is a new era of cooperation. We are going to enhance our relations together, and thank you very much.
Ekscelencjo, wielce szanowny panie prezydencie, szanowni państwo, ministrowie.
Your Excellency, Egyptian President, Your Excellencies, Ministers, and ladies and gentlemen, I express my appreciation for you. This is my first official official visit to Egypt as President, and I thank the President of Egypt, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. We discussed different topics that are important to both countries and also the diplomatic relations, as our relations started 100 years ago. This is a long history of relations.
chyba zdecydowanie za
هذه
mało.
الزيارات الثنائية بيننا كانت
Our
طويلة.
mutual visits were little.
هذه هي
However,
منذ
this
عام
visit
1992
is important.
عندما كان هنا الرئيس
1992,
30
the last visit by the
30 سنة على
Polish president. It means like 30 years
حسني مبارك
since the President Hosni Mubarak visited
في شهر آذار مارس
our country in 2004.
استقبله الرئيس
He was received by President Kasnitsky and I was a minister
الرئيس
at that time.
أنا سعيد جدا
I'm very
أن
pleased
هذه الزيارة
that
تبدأ في
we are launching a new era for our relations. I invited the President to visit Warsaw very soon. Our relations currently can achieve more. We can deep-root the relations together. As the President said, the flights between Cairo and Warsaw, 5 flights weekly. This is going to help enhance economic relations, tourism. These relations are reflected by the Polish tourists. Huge number of Polish people are visiting Egypt and they are enjoying the climate here. We hope the number is going to increase, and we hope that they are going to enjoy the Red Sea, the coast, and also the Egyptian civilization and monuments.
مصر العميقة والتي شارك في الكشف عنها منذ عشرات السنوات.
We follow up the Egyptian discoveries and the monuments, and I'm very pleased that the Egyptian authorities are supporting the Polish archaeological mission, and I asked for having a new archaeological station in Luxor, just to give opportunity for our archaeologists to enhance the cooperation and their scientific activities with regard to Egyptology and the Egyptian civilization, and I hope they can cooperate with their colleagues in Egypt to find more discoveries in this great country. And to maximize the benefits of this cooperation, I discussed with His Excellency the President the current situation. The economic cooperation. Egypt is considered one of the best Arab countries to Polish people. We are having fruitful cooperation together. Polish people love Egypt. I discussed with the President this issue. We have a main base for economic cooperation together. Digitalization, information sharing and technology sharing, military cooperation as well, agriculture cooperation. Agriculture is developed in Poland. We are independent with regard to food supplies, and we are exporting to other countries, and I discussed with His Excellency our potential to export some crops to Egypt. We have big potential with regard to maritime science. and the
مهمة لكلا الدولتين ونحن هنا
maritime
مستعدون
economy. We both together
لمشاركة
are ready
الجانب
to share
المصري كل هذه التجارب.
our
نحن نتفهم
experiences.
أهمية
We
مياه
understand
النيل وما يتعلق
well the importance of River Nile,
الذي
Renaissance
يشكل
Dam,
أرقاً
which is a matter of
للسلطات
concern
البولندية. نحن سندعم
to
السلطات
Poland
البولندية والسلطات المصرية ومصر
and to
في
Egypt as well.
أن
We will support
تؤثر هذه
them
هذا السد
in
وبنائه
order
على
not to have any impact
الاقتصاد
due
والزراعة
to this
المصريين.
dam.
وهي قضية ليست فقط تتعلق
This
بمصر
is
وحده
not
وإنما
a matter of interest to Egypt, but it is a matter of interest to all North African countries. No doubt that this support is going to be given by Poland. I thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your understanding to our situation in Poland. We have more than 2 million refugees from Ukraine. They are living in our country. They are refugees from Ukraine, our neighboring country. We have more than 3.5 crossed our borders. Therefore, we are paying attention to this invasion in Ukraine. We hope this crisis is going to end peacefully. We know that Russia invaded Ukraine without any justification. This is a violation to international rights. We are determined to end this war peacefully. We hope that the boycott imposed over Egypt due to Ukrainian war may be by negotiations. This boycott may be cut and Ukraine can get into negotiation table to accept solutions. And in Europe, we believe that these peaceful solutions will be achieved by the Ukrainian participation in negotiations. We remember the era of the Cold War when Poland, specifically Yalta city, when we were speaking about European future. We stand behind Ukraine, and it is a must to involve Ukraine in the solution. This is the sole way for peace in this part of Europe. I thank His Excellency the President for political cooperation between both countries in the framework of United Nations and Security Council, and we believe that this cooperation is very important, and we are suffering from energy crisis. We will take all steps that would help face the challenge of climate change and war in Ukraine and the impact on the world oil market, and also COP27 that's going to be organized in Egypt. I will try to attend myself this conference, and I assure you that Poland is going to be represented at the highest level. We discussed it together with His Excellency the President on
توريد الغاز المسال وأن
the
بولندا
supply of liquefied natural gas.
ونحن نقوم بتوسيعه ويمكن أن
We
يكون
can
مدينة
expand the
أخرى
cooperation
أيضاً
in this
هناك
regard to
ونقول
have
أن مصر بالنسبة لنا هو شريك مستقبلي.
Egypt is a future partner for us. We support all negotiations between Egypt and EU to export the Egyptian natural gas to EU. These were the important issues we discussed together, and we are very interested in this visit. We thank you very much for your warm hospitality. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President, and very soon I hope that I am going to receive you in Warsaw, and this is another sign to deep root our relations together, Egypt and Poland. And this is going to be fruitful for both countries. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a live press conference between President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and his Polish counterpart, Andrzej Duda. Prior to the press conference, there was signing of memos of understanding attended by both presidents in various fields, and in the press conference, both presidents discussed issues of mutual concern, regional and international issues, of course, and also hailed the bilateral relations which extend to more than 100 years ago. And also they discussed various fields of future cooperation in terms of natural gas, importing natural gas, the combating terrorism, among other issues. That was a briefing on the press conference.